What's up? This your boy P-Nut coming at you with another reaction. And before we get into this, welcome to the Peanut Gallery, y'all. And today, we got somebody new on the channel. Cage the Don, man. Mr. Don Juan himself. This is when Pain packed up Jiraiya by jumping him into the afterlife. Man, it's one of the saddest moments in Naruto history. I ain't gonna lie, man. Enough talk, let's get into this.
Okay, so boom, the scene kicks off with Jiraiya infiltrating the rain village by climbing out this tiny frog. Bro, what's with these Sanin and their freaky transportation methods? Orochimaru stays squeezing out the mouth of snakes. Jiraiya out here squeezing through the throat of frogs. Y'all just couldn't be regular for a little bit? We couldn't take a boat? Before Jiraiya could even step foot in the rain village, the camera immediately cuts to Pain, damn near breaking his neck, stating that he sensed a strong presence nearby. I know he nice, but damn, how did he sense it that fast? This man whipped his neck around like my dog when I pop open a bag of chips. Brother, chill. And can we take a second to count all the piercings this man got? He got 72 holes in his face. He wanna be emo so bad. Mom, leave me alone. I wanna be famous. Face ass. But you know what? I'm not gonna cook him too much because I can't lie. He's low-key one of the cleanest Akatsuki members there is.
Facts.
Hey, hold on. You don't get an edit. You're an off for today. After a little bit more investigating and snooping, Jiraiya finds out that it's the rain that gives Pain his intel, so he devises a plan of attack. He finds and interrogates these two ninjas to get the ups on Pain, and for a minute there, they were really standing on business. They did not say a word, but that act immediately came to an end when Jiraiya turned his buddy into a frog. That man looked at his friend and immediately started singing like Mariah Carey when Christmas comes around. Now that Jiraiya knows Pain's whereabouts, he's ready to get busy. Konan's already one step ahead, so she pulls up on him and wraps him up with her sheets of paper. She makes a paper sword ready to stab him in his chest, but all of a sudden, Jiraiya emerges from the ground and hits her with a fire-style flame bomb. But she somehow blocks it by forming a paper shield. Now, I don't know what kind of vibranium paper she's made out of, but I promise you, if my 3 brain cells came together and tried to block flames of that magnitude with paper, I'd be turned into bacon. Jiraiya starts cooking her, saying he thought she was dead, but he never would have guessed she turned into a piece of paper. So to try and flex real quick, she hops in the air and pulls out these paper wings. The cameraman tries to gas her up by capturing all the angles of her wings, but I looked to my left and then I looked to my right and I confirmed that nobody was impressed. She really thought pulling out them wings was gonna have Jiraiya shaking in his boots, but he's not fazed in the slightest. In fact, he even cooks her after this move and says, "Doing that helps you feel like an angel?" Feeling too embarrassed to give a comeback, she rushes her paper swords at Jiraiya, but he blocks them with his firebomb. She begins to overwhelm him with the paper sword, so Jiraiya rolls out the way and hits her with a toad oil bomb. Then he extends his hand to wrap her up. He tries to talk no jutsu her, but this might have been the most sorry talk no jutsu attempt I've ever seen. For starters, this man brought up the fact that he thought they were dead 3 times in the span of 3 minutes. Like, damn, she gets it. You thought she was dead and you still out here living your best life looking for titties like you don't give a damn. Was she supposed to have a change of heart with this speech? Before Jiraiya could finish yapping, Pain pops up and summons a big-ass crab that shoots out a bunch of foam, which washed off all the oil off of Konan. He then rushes his giant lobster at Jiraiya, but he uses his lion's mane jutsu to grab the giant lobster and rip it apart. After murdering that lobster like me at Captain Boyle, he rushes his hair at Pain, traps him, then proceeds to ask him more questions. But instead of getting any answers, he just gets insulted. Pain starts talking about some, "Jiraiya, you will never understand. You're just a man. But me, I've transferred from a man to a god. Now, if I didn't know any better, I would have let that slide. But it's like, brother, I know what you look like now. You was talking all that god mess, but whole time this was your character build? Not a single ounce of muscle on that body. One hard sneeze and every bone in your body would turn into dust. Talking about you're a god. I could probably see your heartbeat." Pain wiggles his way out of Jiraiya's grasp and summons this special Ed-looking lizard thing. So Jiraiya matches him by summoning Mr. Gamakin. Pain and his sped-looking creature turn invisible. So Jiraiya clicks his heels and whips his hair like he Willow Smith to activate his barrier. Now that his barrier is activated, Pain now knows that even if he's invisible, if he comes around this way, you will get caught. So Pain decides to double down and counters by summoning a 3-headed dog, then sending it straight to Jiraiya. Jiraiya can't release his hands until he finishes summoning the 2 great sages. So Mr. Gamakin jumps up and pins the dogs with his trident. But immediately after getting pinned, they break off into multiples and charge at Jiraiya. Now Mr. Gamakin jumping wall to wall, trying his best to dodge the dogs. He eventually gets tired of running, so he hits 3 dogs with this 3-piece combo, no biscuits, sending them flying. Then he hits one with this mean jab to the throat while causing an explosion, but it's still not enough to take them out. So he decides to lure them all into one place, thinking it would be easier to knock them off the map, but he was sadly mistaken. Because the dogs end up successfully getting Mr. Gamakin to the ground, they now got Jiraiya surrounded. Jiraiya, looking like he's ready to give up, pulls out the Uno reverse card and sucks them up in the belly of a toad, killing them for good. Jiraiya then pops back up, locates Pain, then pins his special ed lizard to the ground, but it turns out to be a shadow clone. Then Pain summons a bird and sends it straight towards him, but Mr. Gamakin blocks it with his shield. I don't know how Pain's summonings keep getting weirder and weirder, but it needs to stop, cause what is that? Am I looking at the top or the bottom of this bird? I can't even tell. Legs out here throwing up gang signs. Man, get this junk off my screen. The bird circles back, so Jiraiya starts to run, but while running, the birds drop off a whole bunch of dookie balls behind him, which start to explode. So Jiraiya runs down a narrow pathway, then hits the bird with a firebomb, killing it for good. Before Jiraiya can even catch his breath, Pain summons a giant rhino. And it's at this point that I would have had to start thinking outside the box, cause I can't keep getting blitzed like this. Would have had to pull out my gold medal and instigating to start attacking this man's ego. Oh, Rhino, that's cute. All these summoning jutsus, but you can't summon the courage to throw hands. No, it's fine, I get it. I'd be scared too, but just know, you are not a real god. A real god would have came out of hiding and packed me up with his hands, but that's just me though. And if that doesn't work, I'm wrapping it up and calling it a day. What do I look like, a zookeeper? I'm not about to keep fighting these animals. The fuck I look like, Tarzan? The Hidden Leaf don't pay me enough for this. The Rhino charges at Jiraiya, but Mr. Gamakin comes out of nowhere to pin him to the ground, causing him to vanish. Another summoning charges at Jiraiya, but he claps it with ease with this huge explosion. I don't know what's with the animal path and these demonic-looking summonings, but it needs to end now. Jiraiya walks out that tunnel, and it turns out that he finally completed his transformation. But when we finally get a good look at him to see what this transformation's about, we see that this man got 2 senior citizen toads on his shoulder. I know good and well this man wasn't running around with his hands together to summon this. Like, look, she out here wrapped in a black cloak like she Dracula, and he over there looking like a decaying Yoda with the ugliest cut I've ever seen. My man got the mohawk with eyebrows that wrap around his head. That is foul. He's throwing hands with the wrong person. What he needs to do is go fight his barber. But you know what? Jiraiya's a legend, so I'ma let him cook. Jiraiya gives them the rundown of what he knows so far, and then they immediately get busy. To locate where Pain's hiding, she uses her tongue to sniff him out, then wraps it around his special ed lizard and releases this green gas to expose him. Then Pa cuts it in half with this water blast. Okay, I see y'all. I didn't know that blended chicken and mashed potato retirement home combo gets you strong like that. I'ma take back what I said. I must have not been familiar with your game. Pain finally exposes himself, and the toads immediately get to cooking him. They over there talking about what nasty eyes. I can't believe he's the child of prophecy. Then they flash back to young Jiraiya being told there will be a day when he has to make a critical decision. The wise old toad is doing what he needs to do. He giving out knowledge and riddles. You know how it be. Them oldies never want to give it to you straight. The power will come to you when red fish, blue fish, green fish, two fish. Like, what are you talking about? But to be fair, I wasn't really listening to anything this toad was saying, because look at his lips. Dry as hell. Y'all got all these jutsus and powers, but you can't summon some Vaseline? Ain't ready to fight for real, so he summons 2 other paths. Now you think with him summoning 2 more paths, Jiraiya and the toads would tighten up and get to work, but that was not the case. They over there yapping and arguing about Jiraiya talking too loud in their ear, and what to cook for dinner tonight. Y'all are thinking too far ahead, cause I'm not gonna name names, but some of you will not live to eat another meal again. Pain sees them bickering, so he rushes in for a sneak attack, but Jiraiya hits him him with the nastiest kick to the face, sending him flying. Got that man laid out seeing stars, damn. Jiraiya and the Toads decide to get serious, so they hit him with a boiling oil jutsu, but one of the paths caused all the oil to vanish. Jiraiya, confused as to where the oil went, decides to hit him with a giant Rasengan. Look at how big that is. He put his whole gooch into it. I knew he was getting serious when he kicked the chanclas off. He not playing. Jiraiya definitely thought that was gonna do some damage, but to his surprise, his jutsu gets absorbed. Another path tries to sneak him from behind, but Paul warns him, throws a smoke bomb, then tries to reverse sneak him. This might be the first reverse sneak I've ever seen in my life. We are witnessing true history. Even though this move was clean as hell, he still bricked the layup because his punch was immediately blocked without even looking. Jiraiya jumps back and tries to hit the animal path with a porcupine blast, but he quickly summons a demented panda to block the blow. Jiraiya and the Toads getting worked, so they fall back to strategize. They eventually come up with the idea to put them under a genjutsu, so the Toads start singing to put them under their spell. All three paths rush to the sound, so Jiraiya hits them with a fireball jutsu, but Slick Back Pain absorbs it. Since this path is distracted and another path is blinded, Jiraiya decides to hit the third one with a fire blast. Alright Jiraiya, you my guy, but I cannot lie. You have been spamming that hot breath jutsu all fight. You gotta have a deeper bag than this. Come on now. The two dodge it, but the blind one falls right into Jiraiya's trap. Now he's finally left one-on-one with the animal path. So he charges him and kicks the air out of his lungs, sending him twirling like a ballerina. The genjutsu finally kicks in, and now their psyche is trapped in the stomach of a toad, leaving their bodies outside paralyzed. Yes, now he's over there giving them this long-ass speech, but in my head I'm like, bro, you too comfortable. I know it don't smell like rainbows and sunshines in there. Wrap it up, especially with that gargantuan-sized nose you got. He's smelling every single atom in that junk. He finally finishes his speech and puts a sword through each of their bodies. After making sure they're dead, Jiraiya takes one look at their bodies and says, y'all whole-ass niggas tried to jump me, but it didn't work, cause I'm Jiraiya, bitch. Okay, nah, I'm playing. But what he really said was, it's finally over. Now, I remember him saying this and getting hyped as hell. My man Jiraiya just took out 3 Akatsuki's with Renegons. This is GOAT level stuff right here. That's 2 W's in 1. Do not play with that boy. He is not one of them. But right as Jiraiya starts walking out, this big bald-headed Pain pops up behind him and whispers in his ear, "Didn't you teach me to never put my guard down? Brother, if you don't back the hell up," in my ear with that hot-ass breath, looking like that one toy off a Toy Story. Man, before Jiraiya could even turn around, he gets sent through a wall, causing him to glide across the water. After he screeches to a stop, we see that Jiraiya is leaking. Now, I see the blood and I'm thinking he must have got stabbed in his back or something. Put some dirt on it, he'll be alright. But I was far from correct. The camera pans up and we see that this man is missing his whole arm. But what's even crazier, this man is still unfazed. Come to think of it, what is with Naruto characters casually losing an arm and then just carrying on about their day? They'll be out here missing a whole limb with the straightest face. Meanwhile, I'm over here writing out my will after the slightest bit of chest pain. They really built different. All of a sudden, 6 dudes in an Akatsuki robe pop out posing for the flick like they know they can't be stopped. Jiraiya is still trying to do the calculations on how they're doing this, but Pain not answering no questions. They only got one thing on their mind: murder. So they all head down there to jump him. Jiraiya blocks the first kick, then kicks one in the stomach, weaves 2 sword swings, then charges at the one who looks like Yahiko, but his punch is easily blocked. The Diva Pad then grabs his wrist and throws him to the wall with one arm. Baldy Pain wants in on some of the action, so he flicks his wrist to show his freshly done manicure, then proceeds to shoot missiles out of his wrist. Jiraiya dodges all the missiles, but one of the paths pull down a giant boulder on Jiraiya, but he somehow evades it. He then grabs the animal path and drags it underneath the water and into a barrier, but this one got acid everywhere. So Pain jumps up to avoid the acid, but Jiraiya swings around the corner like Spider-Man and hits him with a Rasengan to the stomach, causing him to fall into the acid. Paw on his shoulder talking about some, "You did it, Jiraiya boy." But before he can even finish that sentence, Pain pops up out the acid and stabs Jiraiya through his wrist and shoulder before dying. The Toads are real worried for Jiraiya's safety and they tell him that he should retreat, but Jiraiya refuses to go out like a hoe. After staring at the Pain a little bit more, his headband falls off and Jiraiya realizes that this Pain is a shinobi that he's fought fought before. So he gives the intel to Ma so she can bring it back to the Leaf and pops back up to continue fighting Pain. I use the word fighting very loosely because he did not land a single blow after this. He spots Baldy Pain and tries to sneak in with a giant shuriken, but he dodges it with ease, and then all the other Pains spawn in out of nowhere. Now they all surrounding Jiraiya, staring at him face to face. And as he gets a good look at all of them, he realizes that all the Pain are shinobis he's fought before. This for some reason clicks something in his head, and now he knows who Pain is. But before he can verbalize it, Baldy Pain pops up from the water and chokes the hell out of him. Then the rest of the paths jump down to stab. Now he over there looking like a porcupine with all these rods in his back. Pain thinks he finished him off, but Jiraiya in sheer will alone musters up the strength to burn a message into the frog's back, while also stating that Naruto is the real child of prophecy. That amphibian is really a ride or die. The fate of the universe could be on the line, and I promise you, I'm not letting no man burn a message into my back. You better hold out on dying for a second while I find a pen and paper, cause I'm not doing it. Pain notices this last-ditch effort to relay intel and launches a missile straight at Jiraiya, causing a huge explosion. And this is when we see our goat's lifeless body sinking deeper and deeper into the ocean's abyss. You could say I was crazy, you could say I was in denial, but for some reason I thought Jiraiya could still be alive. Maybe that was a shadow clone. Maybe someone's gonna rescue him. Maybe he even gets a supernatural armored boost of chakra that gives him a second wig. I don't know. Do something, Kishimoto. But I was wrong, and we never see him alive again. Except in flashbacks, but that junk do not count. It was with this fight that I now realize what true pain feels like. People talking about having their heart broken for the first time, losing a precious family heirloom in a house fire, even losing a 7-leg parlay because you took the over on Jordan Poole. Oh, y'all can take that little sissy stuff and shut it, because this is real pain. Thankfully, Paul was able to escape, so Jiraiya didn't die in vain. And as we all know, that intel was a key factor in Naruto and the Leafs' get back of the century. Overall, double S tier fight. Pain showed us why he's a top tier villain, even though he's sorry for not giving Jiraiya the faith of a 1v1. And Jiraiya showed us what it really means to never back down.
Exactly. That intel was massive, bro. If he did not put down that frog's back, bro, I guarantee you the Leaf could have been folded, bro. But he got the intel ahead of time. You know what happened next, man. Naruto took over, man, with some help from Hinata, man. So Jiraiya's definitely one of the GOATs, man. Naruto, man, R.I.P., man, to the legend himself. It was hard to watch, man, but he gave it his all, did everything he could, man. Shout out to Cage the Dawn, man, for dropping this banger, man. Make sure y'all follow this man. He does anime topics. He has hilarious commentary as well, man. Sorry, y'all. Just hype from the video. That was my reaction to when Pain packed up Jiraiya by jumping him into the afterlife, man. And before I end this, thank y'all so much for supporting the channel. I appreciate it, man. Hope everybody has a blessed day. I'm out. One love.